Well, good evening. Hello. Thank you for coming in to Let's Get Acquainted. I am so excited tonight because this is another show talking about our theme. This is the National Intergenerational Month. It's time for us to come together, be concerned about one another. And we're going to talk about some ways that we can do that, some ways that you can do that, and put the word out there and share it, as well as why it's important that we should care about one generation caring about another generation. And then I have a special guest with me tonight that I met recently, and this is what it's all about: meeting new people and helping each other. One of my favorite people on Facebook that I've met in the last year, Dr. Patricia Rogers, always says people need people, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. And so she's gonna get a chance to tell us all about what it is that she does in the world to help move people forward, to help bring impact into the lives of other people on the second half of the show. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about this National Intergenerational Month. So let me I want to put up my little tag here to say welcome to all of you. We're here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central and 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure that you are following. If you're on YouTube watching, make sure that you subscribe to my page and hit that notification bell so that when I go live again, you will be notified and come in, and then you can share. Sharing is caring. We want as many people on this broadcast as possible. So spread the word. As you come in, let me know where you're coming in from so I can shout you out. We're here in the Chicagoland area, and we want to know where you're coming in from. So before I get started, I want to just to give us a little time and give me a little time and give you a little time to share. What I'm going to do is play a commercial. And once we do that, then we're going to go right ahead and get into our topic tonight: national generation, intergenerational, meaning we need to be concerned about each other. So we'll be back in just a couple of a minute or so, and I want you to share, share, share. Even replay viewers, share. Make sure that you share. All right, here we go. Hi, busy women leaders. I'm talking to you. Are you juggling your family, your business, your career, and your health? Afraid that if just one ball drops to the ground, everything could fall apart because everybody's looking at you. You're stressed and overwhelmed. You're looking for answers, for help that's real help, for solutions. I have Vibrant Life Solutions that can help you. I am Hillary Gooden, the Vibrant Life Coach, author, speaker, lymphologist, and pastor. I empower busy women leaders with strategies to reduce stress and anxiety while increasing energy, clarity of mind, better sleep, better health, and vitality. Oh yeah, and boost your immunity. If you're ready for that, you say, I need that in my life right now. Let's connect. You can reach me at www.hillarygooden.com. You can direct message me on Facebook or LinkedIn at Hillary Gooden. Or else, if you would like to get on a free 20-minute strategy call, a clarity call, go to bit.ly/Hillary Gooden. That's bit.ly/Hillary Gooden. I absolutely believe you got the power to help your body, help you live a more vibrant life. All right, it's time to go ahead and get into this. And I see we got a couple of people here. So let me just see before I bring my guests out. Who do I have here? Hey there she is. my friend, all the way from DC, and she's probably in New Jersey right now. This is my little thing is working really slow, but there she is. She said, Lotus Roche, another awesome show with Pastor Hillary Gooden. Yes, yes. I'm somebody to know, but guess what? She's somebody to know as well. So let me bring out the other person that's somebody to know tonight. And this is Latasha Evangelist Latasha H Fields. And you know what? That H was really important. When I put Latasha Fields in, a long list came up. I was like, oh, let me put that H in there.
Yes.
And I found you.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you on tonight. How is your day today?
So far, so good. Blessed. Thank you so much, Pastor Gooden, for having me. Yes, it's a blessing.
Yes. And we just met what, maybe 3 weeks ago?
Yes,
About four?
maybe
Yeah,
3
about 4 weeks ago.
4 years.
And it's just, yeah, it's just amazing to meet such people that you know that you're going to be friends with for a while, for a purpose too, you know. And
Yes,
so I'm so glad to have you on tonight.
yes.
We're going to be talking about the intergenerational month. Every September it is celebrated, and it was started. I just want to go into why when it was started. We can kind of get some of that out of the way.
Okay.
And so let's see. Man, I wish this was working faster, but it's going to come up. But
Yeah.
it was started in 1987, uh, 1987 by an attorney. She saw that, come on. Okay, there we go.
Mm.
She saw that, okay, let me just read it. In 1987, Fountain Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit organization where the board of trustees was formed by Sandy Kramer, a Colorado Springs attorney, to research intergenerational issues. The resulting research identified the need to set aside a time each year to focus on intentionally connecting generations to better communicate age-related gratitude and needs. And do you that was in 1987. Do you think that's still needed now?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Most definitely, yes.
Yeah. And when they had we all saw it. We really saw it last year
Mm.
with the what is it? The Black Lives Matter movement,
Mhm.
because the young people really took hold of that.
Yes, yes, they
You
did.
know?
They did, yeah.
Mhm.
So it,
It
it
was
does show the
Go
need
ahead.
to mobilize. Yes,
Yeah.
the need.
The older ones were out there ready, but the young people, they would say, "We got this. We get it, and we got it."
Yes,
And
yes,
it just made my heart there was times with that my heart just felt, uh, I can't even explain it, like it just expanded just a little bit, seeing them take the helm and ready to be heard,
mhm,
to be
yes,
heard collectively.
yeah,
Yes. And so that's what it's all about, communicating. And so that, we communicate so that the next generation can step up.
yeah,
When you
exactly.
say,
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. Because as we know, and so many that are joining in, even in our faith come by hearing. And so,
mhm,
yes, this is paramount that we do raise our voices on the many different things that are happening. And so, yes, we as the words say, we older, not that old, but old enough, have to be
yeah,
an encouragement to the younger. And so, yes, we definitely have to stand to have these conversations.
yes. And I know when we get into the second half of the show, I know you're going to be talking about that, because what you do as an advocate is to
Mhm,
help bring information to those
mhm,
that need it. And if it can get to some of the younger parents, even,
mhm.
that it was going to affect even more another generation of the younger children,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
So,
yes, most definitely.
okay, so we're going to move on to the next thing, just as a backdrop of what this movement is all about, intergenerational month. Um, Man, it's working so slow. Okay, so it says here, could you read that one?
Yes, yes, ma'am. The Intergenerational Foundation launched Intergenerational Month held each September to connect generations and to prompt folks from varying age groups to befriend and learn from each other.
So, have in the last year, 2 years, 5, 10 years, have you befriended anybody above, below, or maybe both that stand out to you?
Oh God, yes. My husband and I, we have met an array of people. Uh, I must say that this last 15 years of my life has been very interesting. And I think the last 5 has gotten even more interesting. Yes, most
So,
definitely.
yeah. So I know you talk to a lot of younger people. Do you find that you have also befriended or have made some valuable connections with those that are generations that are before you?
Yes, I would
Besides
say
me, I'm a little bit before you.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it has been a growing movement, if you will, kind of meeting our elders, and
Yeah,
especially dealing with, currently these last 3 to 4 years, my husband and I dealing with currently the the public policy of what's
yeah,
happening. We're meeting more of our elders more and more. But I
yes,
probably would say the vast majority of people that not necessarily that we meet, probably that we target is probably
yes,
the younger generation, maybe like in our generation or younger. Yeah.
yeah. That's wonderful. So let me go to the comments again here. We have Dr. Lotus Richey was making another comment, and then we got somebody else from Chicago in the house. She said, "Yes, let's get acquainted."
Yes.
I just love talking to people, and
Yes.
coming from being somebody that was so shy, I'm just kind of making up for those years that I wasn't talking.
Yeah, I
And I
find it
love
hard
helping.
to believe.
Yeah, I was shy for a whole lot of years. Then we
Oh,
got Dr. Pastor Dorothy Ross. She's on the west side of
okay.
Chicago, and
Okay.
she's here in the house. She had a meeting today that was about prayer and believing God for the impossible. It was a
Yeah.
really good session.
Yeah.
Yes, and so let's just go get into what are some of the things that people can do to um, to connect with other generations. And so for you all, I didn't put her information up here, but this is my special guest, Latasha H. Fields, evangelist, home educator, and parental rights advocate, and some other stuff that was too much to go on, too much to go on here right now, but she's gonna share it all in a few minutes when we get to the second half. Okay, so let's see, I didn't want to do all of that's your stuff. We're gonna save it for last.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get to it. Excuse me, everybody, but sometimes I'm gonna have me a producer or somebody that can do some of this stuff for me one day. But right now, I can do it. Okay. So one of the things that they can do is visit or volunteer at a retirement home. In the comments, those of you that are watching, have you ever volunteered like at a retirement home? What about you, uh,
Yeah, I
Latasha?
think retirement. It's been a while. I think that I visit a retirement home per se, but we do a lot of volunteerism in terms within the community. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to put retirement homes back on my list.
Yeah, we used to go to, my mother and I, we used to go on Thanksgiving every year. We would go to the Little Brothers of the Elderly. One
Okay.
of my coworkers was she was one of the volunteers that had been working with them for years. And
Hmm.
so one Thanksgiving we went, and then the next Thanksgiving I was like, you know what, let's go again. It was just because I love hearing the stories and just connecting, like you say, with that the older generation. And sometimes it's just a matter of listening,
Hmm.
not so much yapping, but because they got stories to tell. If you get them started,
Oh yeah.
if you get them started, you can learn a thing or two, you
Yes, ma'am.
know?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, so then now we're talking about for the younger ones, um, Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. This made me think, I've heard about these programs, but I have not um, visited. And I know we have programs like that here in Chicago. So
Mhm.
that's something for me to consider.
Yeah.
Have you ever been a part of anything like that?
No,
Or have you
I'm
supported them?
the same. I've heard of these programs, and I guess they all come in various forms or titles. But it's definitely something that we all can begin to mobilize around more. Uh,
Yeah,
City of Chicago to really reach this younger generation, because we're seeing a lot more younger people having kids, and so it's definitely
yeah,
a huge harvest right up in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, they say children say the darndest things,
Oh,
but the thing is they need to be heard.
mm-hmm.
It's so many times they're just not heard,
Yes.
not taken seriously. And
Hmm.
our young children in this day and age, oh my God, just
Hmm.
in the news today just made me think, man, when I was in high school, we didn't have to go through none of this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
at this none of this. And it's just so amazing that they need those opportunities, those outlets, those listening ears,
Yes. Yes.
that wisdom that they could glean from us,
Yes.
you
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree.
So do you have within your organizations, do you have times where you're speaking to the young people, or is it mainly just to the parents?
I would say mostly parents, but within our organization, because we're homeschoolers, so kids are pretty much always there. But it's probably mainly parents, really focusing on parental rights for the most part. But
Okay.
I have been a volunteer for junior achievement and other things. But
Hmm.
again, I would say within these last few years, God has really been moving us to really deal with family in terms of the restoration of the family. So we've really been targeting parents.
Okay, that's wonderful. When you mentioned junior achievement, I remember I was in junior achievement when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So since
Yeah.
a lot of
And it's still going on.
yeah, it is. Of course not. I haven't been in the school since COVID, but
Yeah.
prior to that, I will volunteer to go in and teach financial literacy to the kids, and then just in the community, because again, we did a lot of community. So prior to COVID, I would have a lot of meetings in the libraries to deal with the youth in the community and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really this movement of intergenerational recognizing our differences of our generations is also um, sponsored by the American Library, some other, since you
Yes.
mentioned that, and
Yes.
the American Museums Organization
Oh,
as
okay.
well. Yeah, and it's just I think it's so good that we would move forward and just try to not only reach out ourselves, but encourage other people to reach out, because you can only reach out to who you can reach out to, you
Yeah.
know. But
Absolutely.
other people, if we get the word out and we begin to do it ourselves, other people will see, that it's some merit in doing this,
Yes.
because we're all on this planet, on this ball together.
Exactly. One thing we've been focused on too, in spite of just so many things going on, I think we thank God for technology, but I think
Yeah.
technology have kind of hindered that interpersonal
Yes.
communication, because we're no longer face to face with each other, and now we have the pandemic and these things, and so we have been encouraging a lot of more literally house to house, just
Yeah.
getting out here and talking to people, so I think that has played a part, because we have so much at our disposal with
Yes.
technology. To again, that's just a huge part in why we're not really meeting face to
Yeah,
face.
people don't talk. They could be sitting right next to each other and just
Mhm.
be on their devices.
Yes.
I was in the doctor's office with my mom earlier today, and I was looking at, there was mostly seniors that were there, and everybody was on their device,
Hmm. Hmm.
heads down and just swiping.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
we don't talk, we don't look at each other, we don't
Mhm.
talk, a smile at somebody, their
Yeah.
heads down, you wouldn't even see if you did smile.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, let's see. Dorothy Ross had a comment here. Uh, let's see. She says, Maybe do you mind reading that? You've probably been reading all day, but do you mind reading that?
No, ma'am, not at all. So Ms. Ross is saying, I have 8 grandsons. They're all over 25. I send them encouragement daily and let them know I'm interested in them and what's happening in their life. I talk with them about their friends and I encourage them to start their entrepreneur journey now. Praise
Yes.
God, Miss Ross. That's it. That is,
Yes. I love that. I
yeah.
love that. And I've heard her tell stories about her sons and her grandsons, and sometimes she'll have you dying laughing.
Oh,
But she is so serious, and they recognize not only them, but their friends. That's
mm,
some of the stories that she had me laughing on, talking about her offspring and her lineage,
mm,
but their friends are also attracting. They want some of that attention too.
yes,
They want some of that wisdom too,
yes,
you know?
yes.
And
And I,
that's how we reach more, because then they take it home.
yeah, yeah. And I especially love the entrepreneur part because I think
Yes.
that's
Yes.
a huge part, especially in our community, that we need to encourage and promote more. Because my husband and I both are entrepreneurs over
Mhm.
years, so that's our bread and butter. And so we
Yeah.
definitely emphasize entrepreneurialism a lot. So I like that, Miss.
Yeah. I love it. Let's see, we got another comment here. Who is this, Dr. Ross? She said, we must become concerned with the youth next door or
Mm-hmm.
in the community, and to get to know them in order to help them. I want to know the young people in the community, so when I'm going and coming, I feel safe. Boom.
Yes,
That make a lot of sense.
yes, it does.
That make
Yes,
a
it does.
lot of sense, because they don't have any respect in a lot of cases, because they don't know you, they don't feel you as
Mm-hmm.
being no connection.
Yes, that's
So
true. Yes.
we're so, like you said, we're so disconnected that
Mm-hmm.
people don't feel like it matters if they do wrong against you, because they're not connected heart wise at all.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
So
so who's it going to start with?
yeah, yeah, we have to do it. I agree with her statement right there too, and that's why I've been sharing. And my husband, we tell people all the time, again, thank God for technology. But I said a
Yeah,
lot of the times, like what Dr. Ross is saying, the people we need to meet, most of them are not our friends within these social media platforms, because a lot of
right.
time we preach into the choir for a lot of these issues, and so we
Yes,
do get out there and meet some new people, meet some new
yeah,
faces, and so
yeah.
I really, really like that.
Right,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's what we were doing when we met. We were at
Yes.
that tent of meetings, revival type meeting, and more than just revival, it was about getting out in the streets, going
Mm-hmm.
up and down the blocks, and talking, and actually talking to people face to face,
Yeah.
And I always love stuff like that, because that's what we're called to do,
Yeah.
you
And so
know.
we almost say again, we can still talk to people.
Yes, it's okay.
It's
Put your
okay.
mask on, stand
Hey,
your distance, but it's, we need to do that in order to really be connected,
mhm.
you know. We
Absolutely.
have Did it say Julie?
Julia Joe.
Julia Joseph.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in. Is
I,
somebody that you know?
yeah, I think I know Julie. Hey, Julie.
Hey, let us know where you're coming in from, Julia.
Julie. Yeah.
Okay. So now we're gonna go back up here. I want to because we're getting into the end of this first half, and I don't want to miss the last part of the thing. So why is it important?
Hmm.
Why is it important that I think we kind of covering some of that.
Hmm.
Let me just find these notes. Here we go. Why is it important? Why is intergenerational month important? And the first thing is conversation equals learning. And
Hmm.
that's what we were just saying. Conversation equals learning and caring and connection, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because as we get into the second part of your show, that's what
Hmm.
one of our organizations is all about, conversations that foster change.
Yes,
It
yes.
does. You can't help but grow when we have the right conversations. But even the negative conversations has its influences, and so
Yeah,
it's very important that we keep that ball rolling and having those conversations.
yeah. And that's just like around where the church is uh, in the Roseland community here in Chicago. We get out and we did a lot of food distribution
Hmm.
and just talking to people and praying, offering food and prayer.
Hmm.
Food and prayer. And some
Hmm.
people would get out of they pull up in their cars, say, you know what, I don't need any food, but did I see that you pray for me? I
Yeah.
need prayer. You
Yeah.
know, And it was so serious, and just that connection,
Mhm.
and like she said, Dr. Ross was saying that even fostered safety.
Mhm.
But they say don't touch that one. You
Yeah.
know, don't do no harm to them.
Mhm.
We know them.
Yes.
You know,
And
uh-huh.
yeah, she's absolutely right, 'cause we wanna build trust within our communities. And
Exactly. That's what it is, building trust.
and once
Okay,
we
so
do that, that connection helps with that.
so Julia, she's just wanted to post that she's coming in from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Actually, Julie is one of our, parents. Her kids are in the school, so she's one of our homeschool moms, so she's connected, so I bless God for her family. Yeah.
Okay. So I
Mhm.
just wanted to put it up there on the screen so we can give her that shout out.
Yes.
Chicago representative. Are you on the south side? South side?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, both of us are, yeah, so I'm southwest a little bit, south
Okay.
a little bit, yeah.
All righty.
Mhm.
I love it. So
Yeah.
let's get into those other two right quick. And so we talked about conversation equals learning. And if you can take on the next one there.
Yes, it says the second point says, "Bust the stereotypes."
Mm,
That
what does that mean to you?
Oh my goodness. I think there's a lot of stereotypes, just, particularly around the Black community. And you
Mm,
call them. And again, when we have those conversations, because we all have them, we come to realize that's not true because you can't take this broad brushstroke across everybody.
yeah.
And so that's why I think having those conversations, we do learn, which in turns destroy a lot of those stereotypes and a lot of those myths that we hear.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, in even you guys that are watching, just in the comments, put one comment of one stereotype that you heard over the years, or one that you would like to see a myth busted about, a stereotype busted that was about young people or about seniors. They say that they're all cantankerous. That's not
Mhm.
true.
No.
Sometimes I think they may be cantankerous because they don't have nobody to talk to, nobody to listen to their stories,
Yeah.
you know? Because I've been in some situations myself where I'm listening, but I didn't know I was going to be listening for 2 hours. But it's all good, it's all good. I just love it when we can connect,
Yes. Yes.
when we
Yes.
can connect like that.
Yeah. And
It's,
we
it's,
need that wisdom. It's a lot
yeah.
that can be passed down, of course.
Hmm. And
People.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes they say, nobody ever asked me that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Oh, well, I really wanna know."
Mm-hmm.
He said,
Hmm.
"Oh," I sometimes you see them light up, like, "Let me tell you,"
Yes.
like, "How did you and your husband meet? You was married for 60 years? Oh my god, how did that happen?"
Yes. Yes.
Just hearing some of the, and
Mhm.
just seeing them light up and then tell you stuff that sometimes they haven't talked about in ages,
Yes. Yes.
it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yes.
Definitely.
And so then our last point there is it can lead to unlikely friendships.
Yes. Yes. It
And
does.
I know that I've gotten some unlikely friendships that I wouldn't have otherwise got, again, from social media,
Mm-hmm.
but connecting with
Yes.
some ladies that are ahead of me,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still vibrant and going at life wholeheartedly,
Yes.
But when they begin to tell me some of their stories and I listen, it's like, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
it's just so amazing. And we want to be able to share our stories
Mm-hmm.
with young people too, that, sometimes they're not thinking ahead,
Yeah.
you know?
That's true. And then they look at, especially looking at our elder and different people, we're looking at them in the current. And so that's why having those past stories to
Yes.
understand how a lot of people got where they are is very important. Um,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, and it does lead to unlikely friendships. And I just think with everything again that has happened, I think that last point has exploded. I think a lot
Hmm.
all across this
Yes.
nation, actually global.
Yes.
I mean, I've met people, through social media, just even globally, that we would have
Hmm.
never had the opportunity to connect with. So having those conversations and everybody kind of being on one accord with a lot of issues have brought a lot of people together. So it has
Yeah.
been a phenomenal journey.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So, I want to go ahead because you look at that, we're at 6:30. We're right at it.
Mm.
Good timing.
Yes.
Absolute good timing. Now, what I want to do is I want to tell everybody about an upcoming event that I have as the Vibrant Life health coach and certified lymphologist. I
Mm.
have a event coming up October the 13th. I'm trying to see, how do I show this to everybody? Do, 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 do. It's going to be October the 13th. It's virtual. And let me see. I think if I change my screen in the back of me, I'll be able to at least bring up the information. All righty. So let's see. How can I do that? Yes, I can hear. I'm gonna go to the one screen for a second and talk about that. And then when we come back, we're gonna get acquainted with Latasha H. Fields, and she's gonna tell us whatever it is she wants us to know about her, and then about what it is she's doing in the world today, making great impact. So let me see. All right, so if I go this way, I have a pop-up event coming, and this is like round 2 because we've done this one time and it was really good. Everybody's totally enjoyed it. And it's called Bounce, Baby Bounce.
Mm.
And we're talking about bouncing on those mini trampolines. But listen, if you don't have a mini trampoline, come on in anyway, because we're going to be talking about some of the basic things about the lymphatic system and your health, as well as I'll be open to taking Q&A, answering any questions that you may have that's in particular that you want to have answered. And so that's going to be October the 13th. That's a Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be via Zoom. You can register to get your tickets for $25 at bit.ly bounce, baby bounce. I'm gonna put that in that information in the comments so that you'll be able to have a clickable link that'll take you right to the Eventbrite page so that you can register, get your ticket today, share this information, because I absolutely believe you got the power to help your body help you have a more vibrant life by having more vibrant health. And the best way I know to help improve your health is bouncing and activating that lymphatic system. Bouncing and bouncing and bounce, baby, bounce. So we're going to have a great time, and I'm expecting, it to be a great success, and it's something that's going to be ongoing. I will be doing this monthly. So if you're interested to get in on this one, please come October the 13th. That's a Wednesday from 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern via Zoom. You get your tickets at bit.ly/bounce baby bounce 2, because this is round 2. So we're going to come back now. I'm going to bring my guest back on. This is Latasha H. Fields, and she's going to tell us about what it is she's doing in the world today. And so what I'm going to do is let you have it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much again. Good. And I like that event. I'm gonna have to work my schedule and see that, because I like that bounce, baby, bounce. That is awesome. But yes, as Pastor Gooden said, I'm Latasha Fields. My husband is Ronald, and we are pastors, overseers of our report ministries right here in the city of Chicago on the South Side. And we're also 15-year home educators and parental rights activists, because advocating for our rights as homeschoolers, it just goes hand in hand. And then advocating for our God-given parental rights is really what we're talking about, the family, the divine family structure, just really, really restoring that and encouraging that again. Because as many of you know, there's so much going on in our society today. And so we believe there needs to be more hands-on advocacy in helping people understand the power that we have within the family unit. Because as we know, the word of God said that he told, when he told Abraham, in thee, all nations and all family of the earth will be blessed. And so we are really, really passionate about seriously restoring the family. And so we are doing I guess we're making great things, great strides here in Chicago, according to our faith and the grace that God has given us. Again, with this public policy, most have heard about the SB 818, the sexually explicit content. That's been something that has been dear to my heart, that God has really impressed upon me, being a home educator, and also my husband, to really bring exposure to the weapons that are being formed against our children within the public education system and within the family unit as a whole. And so through that advocacy, we're using our platform, which is called Epic Cafe. And Sister Gooden has talked much about conversation, because that's what Epic is. Epic is an acronym for Empowering Parents and Igniting Communities. And Cafe, the Lord just kind of dealt with us to add that, because it is about having conversations and conversation that foster change. Because as many of you know, the Word of God says that faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. And so we believe in the power of faith. We believe in the power of speaking truth, proclaiming the good news of Jesus, really proclaiming the truth. And what truth does, as we all know, truth exposes all the lies that is happening within our society and within our culture. And so that's what Epic is about, to really, really empower parents. And I just believe that we no longer want to put the cart before the horse. And what do I mean by that? We don't want to just say, let's change communities. We want to change the actual humans, because Christ, the law of Christ, is written on our minds and in our hearts. And so it's really about renewing our minds and really reaching our parents, because we believe when parents or families are changed, then we just believe it's inevitable that our communities will change, because that's what makes communities vibrant. The families that are within those communities bring the wealth and the prosperity and the power and the knowledge and the truth into the communities that we all live in. And so that's what we're doing. We're going out weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, within the community. As Pastor Gooden, we were talking about, we are actually meeting people, because I know, on my social media, the people that God has pressed upon my husband and I heart, they're not our friends on social media. And so we're out there literally in the streets, talking to people, talking to our sisters and brothers, talking to that younger generation that would have otherwise probably even never heard of a lot of these egregious public policies that are happening right here in the city of Chicago. And so that is our number one focus, again, is just to really expose all these weapons that is being formed against us. And so that's what we're doing. And also, again, being 15-year home educators, my husband and I, we pulled our oldest daughter, out of public school when she was in 4th grade. She'll be 25 years old this week. And we homeschooled her all the way through high school. And she finished college 2 years ago. And so, again, is as one of Sister Gooden points was, just busting through those stereotypes, because unfortunately, a lot of the stereotypes are still that we, if you will, as the Black community, that somehow homeschooling is still a white thing, and it's not, right? Homeschooling has been around since antiquity. What's new is public education. So public education is the new thing. It's been around about 120 years. And so we just want to go back to understanding that first and foremost, we have a God-given responsibility to teach our children. And we don't need any state or any government either deterring that or trying to alter that or being tyrannical, if you will, concerning our rights to teach our children. And so that's what we advocate for in home education. And also, we definitely advocate for private schooling, because even though we homeschool our children, we run a private Christian school right here in our home, right here in our basement. I've been teaching children for 14 years. And so that is an extension of our evangelistic ministry to reach those families that, because of different barriers, because we don't believe in can't, because we believe you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But we do understand there are different economic barriers. There are various barriers within our society that parents may feel that homeschooling may not be the right timing for them, so there's many different reasons why people may not consider or are considering it and just haven't took that leap of faith. And so we're here to support families. We're here to support our families as much as we can. And so we bring all those tools to the table in terms of school choice. And the reason why we're not advocates for public education is because we've seen in these last 120 years that public education has changed drastically. And especially within maybe the last 10 to 15 years, it has went places that I don't think any of us were prepared to see what we're seeing now in the public education system. And one of those things, again, that has just really just just disheartened me again is this sex ed curriculum. And it's not just in Illinois. Illinois has legalized it and codified it, but it's happening all over our country, and it's actually global in terms of from the World Health Organization, International Planned Parenthood, and even Black Lives Matter is a part of this sexualizing of our children. It is very explicit. You know, they want to teach our children as young as third grade how to masturbate, you know, and want them to define anal and oral sex. And there is heavily saturated with the LGBTQ plus movement, and want to teach sixth graders, and that's roughly 10 or 11-year-old kids, how to consent to sexual activity. And so we just believe these things should not be within our public school system. And many of us believe that this has no place within the educational system. And so here in Illinois, the bill has already passed, unfortunately. And the LGBTQ history curriculum has passed. That passed in 2020. And now kids in public school will not even be able to graduate from 8th grade without having the comprehensive knowledge thereof of the LGBTQ history. And so we've just seen where this thing, again, has become very aggressive in terms of that. And now they have comprehensive sexuality education, which when we were in school, we had sex ed, but sex ed was not explicit. It was not pornographic. You know, it did not teach us to how to consent to sexual activity. Again, it did not teach us that it was perfectly normal to masturbate or to have anal or oral sex. And those are the things we don't want our children learning. We don't want our children taking hormone blockers on school campuses, and that's in the bill. You know, we don't want our children being introduced to transgender ideology. And so those are the things that we're trying to bring the parents to be very, very aware of what has infiltrated the public school system, that they are literally indoctrinating your children with this sexual explicit rhetoric. And so it's very anti-Christ, it's very anti-parent. And those that are Christians, you should be forewarned and not want your children sitting and being taught those egregious things. These things are very repulsive, and we should not stand for these things at all. And so that's what we're doing. We're just bringing advocacy about these things. And the one good thing, if there be a good thing about this bill, parents can opt out. And so that's why we're aggressively moving into the community and passing out the opt-out forms so that parents can take their kids out of that curriculum, you know, opt them out, at the very least, opt them out. But me being me, and those that know me, I say, take them out. Take them all the way out, and we can help you, walk you through that, lock arms with you, and support you. Either of you really want to just take your kids out of the public school system.
Yeah, I found that when I first met you and you were setting up your table and everything, and you began to talk about it to everyone, I found the fact that most people don't even know about this. That's the part that's the most alarming. Mm-hmm. And you said our counterparts in the suburbs, they know and are fighting and for, you know, but it still went through. But it's so many in our community that don't even have a clue that they're, you know, when a child is in 3rd grade, what are they, about 7?
8 at the most. Yeah, probably 8.
About 8 years old or so, and that they're being, you know, that this is the type of curriculum that's going to be coming, that's going to be mandated, unless you take the option to opt out. But if you don't even know you have that option, because nobody's telling them that they have this option. Nobody's even saying, oh, did you know this got passed? If you're not savvy and take it upon yourself to be aware, there's thousands and thousands of parents that have no awareness of this. And, you know, at least they need to be aware. And if they want to opt out and know that they can opt out, some would choose to.
Yes.
You know, so I you know that this is near and dear to your heart, and it would probably be more near and dear to other people's heart if they only knew.
Yes. And that's why I thank God for your platform and many other platforms that I've been able to speak on, and how God has been able to mobilize us to bring more awareness to it. Right now, it's somewhat, I guess you could say, kind of subtle, but now it's law. And so meaning that Illinois' public education system education component has changed completely. So it can go in effect immediately up to August 2022. And so with the opt-out is a default opt-out, meaning that, again, the schools are not sending notices concerning this for the most part. And so that's why we're telling them, here's the opt-out form. The opt-out form is on our website. I'm passing it out. Here's the form. Get your babies out. Again, if you choose to, get them out of that curriculum, because we don't want our children, we have enough problems, period. So we don't want our children, we don't want the level of promiscuity to go up. We don't want promiscuous behavior to go up. We don't
It's
want
already bad enough. Yeah.
exactly. And so we don't need an escalade of those things,
Yeah.
And also another point in that bill, abortion is aggressively pushed, where children now, I think the bill is SB, I can't think what the bill number is, and I apologize, but the law has already passed the parental notice that girls 17 and under, I think it's SB 25, 17 and under can get an abortion without parental consent. And
Yeah,
so,
that's enough.
yeah, and then this bill here just pushes that. So we don't want our children on school campuses, our young girls, get an abortion without parental consent. We don't want our children in the locker rooms or in the classrooms,
Right.
curious, if you will. And so
Yeah.
these are things we're constantly bringing parents and making them aware of, so that, again, we can't say it enough. Opt your kids out of that program.
Yeah. And if you in the audience, if you've known about what is it called? What do they call?
The bill?
Yeah.
Yes, SB 818. So it's the Keeping You Safe and Happy, Safe and Healthy, and it's Comprehensive Sexuality Health Education. Yeah, but
Okay.
SB 818. Yeah. So Pritzker, I think the press conference was August 20th.
Okay.
It passed in May. Both houses of legislature, they passed it, and then it got signed into law, but it went public August 20th. But again, even though it had a press conference, it's no one still knew anything about it.
Paying attention. A lot of people that need to know don't even watch stuff like that.
Exactly.
They don't even listen to stuff like that. And so that's why it's having those boots on the ground. It's so needed. Black Lives Matters, but our babies sexual, I'm gonna tell you folks, Latasha has the book, the revised book, because the book has been around for a while, from my understanding. When I went out on Amazon and was looking at, I said, oh, this is a new revised version, which is more explicit than it already was before. And before it was brought into law here in Illinois. And I said, man, I was going to get this book so I could help, share this. I'm a grown woman, and I'm going to tell you, to think that some of the stuff I saw in this book would be shown to 8-year-olds. It just, but I was like, I don't even want this book in my house.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's just going to be sitting on the shelf in the library. And I was reading a lot of the comments that people were leaving on Amazon. And, some of them were very much forward. A lot of the parents that I read the comments were saying they got the book and just gave it to their child. I was thinking, what kind of crazy that you need to sit down and go through and see what's appropriate, if there's anything in there appropriate for your child, especially when you start talking about teenagers. Maybe they need to know, because they're going to be talking about a lot of this stuff anyway. But for the little ones, let them stay innocent.
Yes, and that's it. And that's it. Their innocence matter. And I tell parents and people all the time, granted, Christian or not, we have all the time in the world for sex. I believe it's inappropriate for high school. These children need to be focused on their education, on their goals in life, because learning how to have sex is not going to get you a job.
Thank you.
It's not going to get you anywhere in life. Knowing how to have oral and anal sex, knowing how to masturbate, is not going to add anything to your life but hinder. And that you can go kill an innocent baby and have an abortion and all these things.
Right.
This social sexual indoctrination has no place in public education in school. And then the whole idea that they have deemed this to be age appropriate, they have really crossed the line in usurping parental rights, because no government, no legislative body or school board has the right to tell any parent what's appropriate for their children, because all 10-year-olds are not the same, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Parents be encouraging innocence. They need to be
Yeah.
encouraging purity. They need to have a zeal for that, because
Mhm.
once they become adults, this country say 18. Once you become 18, then they can do whatever they feel is necessary for their lives. But 18 and under, these children need to be focused on contributing to their families. They need to be focused on their education, learning some work ethics, some vocational skills, all
Mhm.
the things we should be
Yeah.
pushing and encouraging entrepreneurialism within our,
Yeah.
not this sexual
Yeah.
exploitation of our children.
Yeah. They need to have some financial literacy
Pass
stuff
that
going
bill.
on. Mandate that, you know.
That's not mandated in all public schools. You may have that
Right.
in select schools. So
Mhm.
pass a law to mandate entrepreneurialism, so financial literacy,
Mhm.
mandate something, codify something
Yes.
that can actually benefit these children when
Yeah.
they become adults, so they can be productive citizens in this world. But this garbage with this sexual education, this is gonna do nothing but ruin generations after generations.
Yeah, well, folks, we really need to, we need to pray, but even beyond praying, because if this happens, just like in Texas, what they did about abortions,
Mhm.
and other states are looking at it, just like Illinois has made this, signed the bill and taken this and made it into law for the schools, the educators to have to put this in every library in the schools. And the kids can just go in and get the book out.
Yeah.
One of the couple of comments I saw, they said it's the most requested book in the school library, because the kids take it out and they looking at it amongst each other, whatever,
Yeah.
because it's just freely there.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I just really wanted to help Latasha and her husband
Mhm.
to get the message out
Yeah.
that this has happened, and it can happen in your state,
Yeah.
wherever you may be, if it hasn't already happened.
Yeah.
And you need to check it out.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're here in the Chicagoland area and you would like to volunteer or help, or
Please.
maybe invite she and her husband to where you are, to be able to educate some other parents, to make them aware, and to be able to get those forms to opt out if
Mhm.
you so choose to, once you know what's going on. Her contact information is all here.
Mhm.
You can go to Epic Epic Cafe. Oh, I didn't spell Chicago right. It's on Chicago, but it's epiccafechicago.org is their website, and their email is epiccafechicago@gmail.com. You
Mhm.
can reach out, and I'm sure they'd be glad to share and answer any questions that you may have. So as you come in and you watch this broadcast, please share it, share it, share it, and share
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Tag some people that you may know that
Yes.
to know this information as
Yeah.
well.
Yes. Thank you so
Mhm.
much,
Yeah.
Pastor. Yes. And just one more point. She stressed it. We really need volunteers. You said it, a few minutes ago. We really need
Mhm.
boots on the ground, because I think the more people we can get mobilizing into our
Mhm.
communities, the greater effect that we will have, and more
Yeah.
parents can become aware. So
Yeah.
please, if nothing more, if you can help us volunteer, you can email, share flyers,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, reach out to us. Yes.
Yes. I just love it.
Yeah.
So we got a few minutes, and we talked about some heavy stuff. This stuff is kind of heavy. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I don't even know the name of that book, but when I went
Oh, it's
to
called
look,
Perfectly Normal. Oh, yes, thank you.
there
Yeah,
you go.
the
It's
book
called
title is
Perfectly. Let me
Perfectly
write
Normal.
it here.
Yeah, it's
The
Perfectly
book is
Normal.
called Perfectly Normal.
Mhm.
I'm
And
gonna
and
tell
as
you.
you and as you said, how you didn't want to bring it in your house, and I tell people, yeah, I have 3 kids at home, but I have it in a black box that has a lock and key. It's
Yeah,
just
and I saw it.
yeah,
I saw
yeah,
it when she brought it out to the tent revival.
yeah,
She unlocked her, and I was like, "What did she got over there?" When she opened the book and she was perusing through some of the pages, I was like, "Oh, oh!" And then it made me say, "Now this is the effect this having on me." The little kids, some of these little 8-year-olds, they don't need to see this stuff yet.
no,
Not yet.
not at all. I mean,
Not
some
at
of these
8 years
kids,
old.
yeah, and the curriculum is K through 12. I want to make sure parents understand it's K through 12,
Kindergarten.
kindergarten, and I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 5-year-old, so I could phantom my
Mm, mm,
babies
mm.
and exposed to anything. And 5-year-old, you still almost potty training those kids. you know,
Exactly. When I think about when you think about your nieces and nephews, and and stuff like that, sooner, they'll make their own decisions about their, what they want to do with their life, sexually or whatever, once they, as they grow up. But at that age, they don't need to be, because what you see, you can't unsee it.
Yes, yes. And we don't want to ruin their psyche. So they don't understand that's a lot of psychological effects, long-term psychological effects, exposing children too early to those type of imageries. And so again, parents, that is their responsibility to decide when they want their kids exposed to that. It's not for this broad brush stroke to be exposing kids to those type of pornographic images. And then one more point I like to make: when you want to teach sixth graders, roughly 11 years old, how to consent to sexual activity, it begs the question, is this teaching or indoctrination for 11-year-olds to have sex with 11-year-olds, or is this all about pedophilia? I think it's about pedophilia. And so we got to just keep it real. This is about pedophilia, because 11-year-olds are playing. These kids, they just want to go to the park and play with their
let them.
They're not thinking about sex. They're only thinking about sex because you're putting it before them, right? And so we need to let these kids remain innocent as long as they can, because again, they have plenty time to have sex past 18. Trust me, they have plenty time for that. Plenty of time.
My goodness. Dr. Read here. This is Dr. Pastor Dorothy Ross. She's also from Chicago on the west side. Maybe they may be able to connect you at their ministry too. But go ahead, read what she has to say.
So Dr. Ross is saying, what happened to knowing what our children are entertaining and who they're hanging out with? Train them and train them and guide them in godly ways. Exactly. And that's why we're reaching parents. You have the God-given responsibility to train them up in the way that they should go. And we know our faith teaches us to flee fornication, to flee sexual immorality. And so we should not be allowing a system that has legislated God out, legislated prayer out, to teach these immoral, ungodly teachings. And so we as believers need to be, again, on the front line of this thing, advocating and exposing these weapons that is formed against our children. The enemy is after our kids, and we got to wake up and snap out of it and see it. He's after our children, and we have to save our generation, because they're the next, right?
The next. That's absolutely. So that's why I wanted to have you on during this month, intergenerational.
Yes.
This is you advocating for the next generations that are coming up, and by making their parents to be informed. It's all about being aware, because the government, they're always trying to push stuff kind of under, and there's so many people that know about it that are fighting it, but there's so many more in our communities and communities like ours in some of the other cultures that don't have a clue, don't know. And so that's why you're here. And I thank God, he's put this as a mission. It's something when we answer the call that God puts on our lives.
Yes, amen.
And mine is about the Lord too, and the gospel, but as well as helping people to understand that they got the power to help their bodies, to help them to live a more vibrant life. By having more vibrant health, we have a responsibility to our bodies.
Yes, we do.
To do what we can do. Because God, when we do what we can do, our body gives us the benefits of more energy, more clarity of mind, feeling young at heart, better health, more being able to sleep at night,
So what you're talking about the temple. We're talking about the temple. So we have to watch what we put in our temple, watch what we eat, watch what we watch what we hear, watch what we think, our thoughts and everything. I teach my children all the time, protect your ear gates and your eye gates, because they're the windows to your soul. And that's what we're saying, our temple. So we can't disregard what entities are doing to destroy our children's temple. We have to protect their temple.
Yes. So this has really been, we're at the top of the hour now, and I'm so thankful to have had you on.
Thank you
and
so
to
much.
share your message. And again, replay viewers, if you're watching this, you matter to us. Continue to share this broadcast out, and connect. You can connect with. Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes. Yes, it's Ministers Ronald and Latasha Fields. Yes.
You write that in. So if you want to connect with them here on Facebook,
Mhm.
you can go to Ministers
Ronald and Latasha Fields.
Ronald, her husband,
Mhm.
and spelled out
Yeah, and spelled out. Yes.
Latasha Fields.
Mhm.
I just put that in front of it. So let's see. Yeah, this has been enlightening. I know it was enlightening to me when I first heard you, and I'm again, it's just hearing stuff like this. Say, yeah, it's not telling you that uh we're not trying to say that you have to do what she's saying.
Mm-mm.
She's just her mission. She's been mandated by God. We didn't have the time to get into your story or how God even brought you to this area.
Yes.
Where are you guys from?
Yeah, we're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So we've been in Chicago now. Next month will be 10 years. So yeah, long,
10
long story
years.
short. Yeah, he sent us here. Yeah, he sent my husband to do
Can you
Evangelist.
tell a snippet of the story? Because I want them to hear when you're on a mission, just like Dr. Ross was talking earlier today about the impossible is possible
Yes.
with God.
Yes.
And when he tells you to do something,
You gotta do it.
and I've been seeing it lately, how he changed plans.
Yes,
And
he
he's speaking to your spirit. And it's so real that you have to obey.
yes.
Just give us a snippet of your journey from say that again, from Texas,
Baton Rouge,
from
Louisiana.
Baton Rouge
To
to Chicago.
Yeah. So 6 years prior to us coming, the Lord dealt with my husband, through dreams and visions that he would send him here one day to evangelize. And so a lot of the things that we've been doing, maybe in the last 10 years, it clearly has manifested. And so the time came, October 2011. Long story short, we had a school back home and all these great things. And the Lord said it was time to go. And so typical family, we've been in ministry, my husband in ministry, probably a little over 20 years. And so we packed up. We had 3 kids at that time. My daughter was 15. Our boys were 4 and 2, and so we packed up in the Honda minivan, loaded up with snacks and a cooler, no rent money, didn't know where we were going, at all. We had never been here in our life, didn't know a soul. And so we said, okay, God, we're about to take this Abrahamic journey. We going to a place we know not of to preach your gospel, And back then, it's amazing how just 10 years ago, we didn't have a smartphone. We had a flip phone. It's amazing how in 10 years
Yeah.
and I had printed out the directions because God
MapQuest.
Yeah, I did literally a Google Map quest printed out.
Yeah.
God showed my husband a dream, 37th Street. So we didn't know Chicago was this big, coming from Baton Rouge, east, northwest, all this. And so we literally just Googled to 37th Street, got on I-57 and just 15 hours just came here and we're here. That's the short part. And we're here. And God has been so faithful to us.
Yes.
Has blessed us tremendously. Yes.
Yeah, they just moved by faith like Abraham did too, go there.
Yeah. And we just
go
came
there.
And we just say, okay, God, we're here. And he's been ordering our footsteps.
Yes, and for such a time as this.
Yes.
For such a time as this, to be the one crying in the wilderness, it seems, especially in our community, to get the word out.
Yes.
And so, I just pray for you guys for God to continue to give you everything that you need as far as the help spiritually, naturally, so, and the resources. And, and I know he's been connecting you globally.
Yes.
Globally. And so, and just like Elder Roberts just came on from our ministries, you may say, well, my children are grown. But you got some of I know she got grandchildren, great grandchildren, and just to think that some of this stuff they're going to be exposed to.
Yeah.
So I want to say, you said this is just the Chicago public school?
No,
this is statewide.
This is statewide. Yeah, we're just focusing on Chicago. As you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of momentum in the suburbs, but it's a state bill. So it's charter school too. So it's and charter, and the private schools will have access to this curriculum as well. And so that's why we know a lot of our counterparts are mobilizing within the suburbs of Illinois. And so God pressed it upon me and my husband's heart that, again, we know if somebody don't go out here in the city, I'm talking in the city of Chicago, in the CPS, they're not going to know. And so we're just one of many voices that's within our community that's telling our people, listen, this is what they're trying to do, because we know a lot of these bills, a lot of these public policy that happens, unfortunately, we get the blunt end of the stick, and they will impact our community the worst. And so I cannot rest and sit back and knowing this information, being one, if you will, the Lord has blessed me to be savvy and watch political processes and be connected to a lot of people. I would not sit on this and knowing what the enemy is trying to do to my people and to the people of God and to these babies, and not with trumpet on this. No way.
So I want to say to everybody that's listening and those that will listen on the replay, please lift up. And hey, Phyllis and Elder Roberts shout you out, and Phyllis coming in from Virginia.
Yes.
And she's somebody that I met online and been knowing, how can I say, what's the word? Let's get acquainted. Been acquainted with her for a few years. And then just this past August, I got a chance to meet her in person when I spoke in Branson, Missouri. So it's just so wonderful to be able to meet people in person. I've got a chance to meet Dr. Ross in person, and Laverne Roberts. I've been knowing her for years, but it's just an amazing thing, to connect with people that you've been, and you probably doing that too, connecting with people in person that you've been seeing, that's been seeing you online. And so, again, I thank you so much. We got one comment here before we go. Dr. Ross is really into this, and I'm thankful. She says, God asks us to do strange things at the strangest time. We trust and know the way has already been made when we move in obedience.
Amen.
And I believe that's what you and your husband are still doing.
Yes.
And so you guys make sure that you put her and her husband on your prayer list. They need prayer. They need to be covered.
Yes, amen.
They need to be covered.
Yes.
No weapon formed or fashioned against them shall prosper in Jesus' name. And I pray that God just continue to give you his the security of his protection in the spirit as well as in the natural.
Yes,
in Jesus' mighty name.
Yes, thank you.
Amen. And Dr. Ross says she loved to share. So thank you for sharing this message out. Amen. From Elder Roberts.
Amen.
Phyllis said, great to have seen you in person also. Please repeat the topic again. I will, because it's just amazing. Hey, Phyllis, you want to repeat the topic again? You want to come see me next Thursday? Ha ha ha. Let me know. Put a yes in the comments. If so, I'll get in touch with you after the broadcast. We got one more Thursday. I thought I was through. I was done. I was like, oop, I got another Thursday this month. Okay.
Amen.
So she said amen.
Yes.
So with that, let's just have our final word of admonishment or wisdom or whatever it is that God put on your heart before we go. And then when I put you in the studio, please don't leave.
Okay.
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 So I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, I just want to encourage everybody and thank God for everybody that is listening and that will listen to this, and just know our hearts is to serve our people and to love on families. And one of my many scriptures that I'm hanging on to in this season is really being the repairs of the breach, to go into our communities and just repair those old waste places, just giving people something else to think about, just to consider. Because again, we can't say it enough. Faith come by hearing, and hearing the word of God. And just know we love you guys. Amen. Love you. Yes.
Praise God. Praise God. So I'm going to have you to go back in the studio. I'm going to give my last words of wisdom as well. And this has been a great show, a great topic that I just felt like it was really made for what you're doing.
Yes.
And keep sharing this out, people. Keep sharing this out. So I'll do that, and then I'll see you in a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Well, maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes.
Okay. Wow. This topic, I felt like, oh, this is going to be kind of heavy, but even though things they seem heavy, somebody's got to talk about it. Somebody's got to expose it. Somebody has to be that voice that's not muted, that voice that's not scarred. She's not scared. She and her husband are not scared to be the one that God has chosen. And she's gone into many places that we don't even know. Like she said, dealing with policy and knowing what's happening and bringing that information back to whosoever would listen and hear and do something with them. So I'm just, if God put something on your heart, even though it may seem kind of scary, it seems kind of hard, it seems like, oh my God, why you choose me? If God chose you, that's because he know what he's put in you, what he's made, what you're made of. Be obedient, like Dr. Dorothy Ross was saying. You know, when you move in obedience, when you move in obedience, provision will come. God has already made the way. He wants you, because you're the one chosen, to just do what he says, and then you'll begin to see how great things he wants to do for you and through you. But it's not just about you, it's about those that would hear, those that would be impacted. And so I thank God for Latasha and her husband. She's also an evangelist, and she and her husband has a ministry, a school. They have their oldest was homeschooled and graduated from college, you know, and that's just a testament to what they've already done. And so they know it worked. And so their other three children are being homeschooled, as well as some other children as well. So I'm just so thankful. I want to say again, the pop-up, you see this behind me? Pop-up. We did it, I think I did it in May, but here we are again. Bounce, baby, bounce. For your health. Come with me Wednesday, October the 13th, from 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be via Zoom so we can see each other. And I'll be there to give you a short training or teaching on the lymphatic system and your health. But most of all, if you have questions, you need answers, you want to know if I got solutions for you. And I got Vibrant Life Solutions, Vibrant Health Solutions, So make sure that you check it out. You can go and get your cover that up. The tickets are $25. To register is $25. You go to I got the link here. You go to bit.ly // bounce baby bounce 2, because this is round 2. We're going to do it again, so I got to put that number on it. And I want to see you. If you know somebody that's been interested or want to know how they can get inflammation down in their body, how they can get more energy in their body, have more peace in their mind and their spirit, make sure you share this out. Share the link, bit.ly / bounce baby bounce 2, October the 13th, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, via Zoom. Don't forget to register today and share this out. So thank you. This is Let's Get Acquainted with Hillary Gooden, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I also would love to see you on Tuesday nights for the Vibrant Good Health Show. Again, that's 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, where I talk about all things to help your body, help you to live a more vibrant life by having more vibrant health and getting that lymphatic system activated and working for you and not against you. So thank you again. I look forward to seeing you. Make sure that you pray for my guest and that what she's doing in the world. And reach out to another generation, seniors, somebody that's been before you, or reach out to the young people and make a difference and be a blessing. And you know what? You'll get blessed as well. Good night, everybody.